Cybertron. Today we are taking a look at Hasbro's Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime from the Transformers Generations line. As you can see, there seems to be something missing in this box, and that's because as soon as I got this thing, I couldn't wait. I had it delivered to me at work from Big Bad Toy Store, and I just got excited and I had to open it. So, the most interesting thing I find about the packaging is that they actually packaged Optimus in bot mode, which was kind of unusual. Normally they package the car, I guess because it's easier profile to fit into a package. But as you can see, here's a shot of the game art of Optimus in his new tank-like form, I guess. Well, more like a muscle truck, really. The logo for Fall of Cybertron, a neat picture of him from the game. You can see he's gone through a lot of stylistic changes from the first game. Size, just got the Autobot logo. Here we have his new bio. Shot of the action figure. His stats. That's kind of cool. Just like the old figures back in the day. And the normal join us online stuff. But yeah, that's the figure box. Let's take a look at the figure himself. So here's Optimus out of package. And as we mentioned before, he's taken a big change in design. He's gotten a lot more bulky since the first game, since War for Cybertron. And looking pretty huge, all told. Now, that he's not as big, just in general, as you would think he is. Go ahead and compare him to the first game's figure. This is just the render form X. But as you can see, huge differences, but not a huge figure. He's got a smaller head, smaller body. Everything is kind of toned down on this guy, which is a bit of a shame because, you know, you always want to see your Optimus Prime be the biggest guy, but he's actually, I think, smaller than the Jazz in this line, which is kind of lame. So you can see, color-wise, you know, somewhat similar. The red on this Optimus is a lot more toyetic. The blue as well, really. This kind of, for me, is pointing how much Hasbro is trying to cut costs on things. You can see that they're really not getting it done in terms of the look. I mean, look compared to this guy, the where he had like kind of the metallic plastic almost, and then the dark metallic boot color, the blue. This guy he's not bringing it the same way, which is unfortunate, but you know, that's the way it goes. So since we got him up here, let's take a look at his face. You can see he's got a very a new head. Pretty cool. The windows don't come in nearly as far as they normally do on an Optimus Prime figure, which is interesting. Silver on the arms. You know, pretty good panel lines everywhere. You know, he's got a decent sculpt. It's just kind of betrayed by cheap plastic. His arms are thin when seen from the front, and I think it's also a little bit illusory because if you can see, there's more red there. It's because they didn't paint the inside here. If this had been painted silver, I don't think this arm would seem quite so thin from the front. You see, from far away, kind of focus. Thank you. Kind of looks a little bit thin in that area, a little strange looking, but I think if they painted the inside of that, which probably are going to be a lot of people are going to do, I think it would look a lot better. Typical grille for the midsection. Nice boots. Oh, let's take a look at his gun too in a second, but the boots are looking good. He's got the typical wheels on the sides. The back is actually not bad. They have a fold-down flap here which covers up some of the transformation bits. These are open, but it's not that bad. So overall, pretty decent looking robot mode. It's interesting to note that in the package, these are up. And I don't know why. They're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be rotated down, but in the package he comes with them up. And you'll see the rifle is actually very similar to his G1 rifle in styling, which I think is really cool. It's still got the Fall of Cybertron kind of aesthetic to it, but you can see like the big fin here and how it kind of works its way up and tapers. I'm not a big fan of this. I wish they had worked another way. This is so when you put it on his back, it's a gun. when he's in car mode. But I would much prefer just, you know, having that cut off and finding a way to utilize that instead. But anyway, articulation-wise, Optimus has a ball-jointed head, which is, I'm knocking toys over, not bad, you know, pretty good up and down. Side to side, you could use maybe a little work, but it's just because it's tight on that ball joint. It's tighter to twist than anything else. He's got ball-jointed shoulders, which are limited a bit by the sculpt, because they are just true ball and socket joints, so not awful. I mean, you can get a pretty decent range, but like when you're trying to go out this way, like to aim a gun, that's as far as it's going to go out because it's going to be blocked. So that's a bit of a shame. Swivel biceps, they go all the way around. The hinges and the elbows will go up as far as you want because it's part of the transformation. So that's pretty cool. He's got a ball-jointed waist, but the ball is part of the transformation mechanism, so really works more like a swivel. But you can see, if you want to, you do have a little bit of up and down there. I mean, this will go all the way back if you want it, but it's not going to get too much side to side or anything. In fact, virtually none. So, ball-jointed hips, full range of motion there, nothing to hinder it, which is great. Swivel in the upper thigh, which is pretty free-flowing, not too bad. Again, for the transformation, the legs will allow you to go all the way, so that's great. The ankles are on a ball and socket joint too, which are not, I think, as good as the original figure's ball and socket joints in the ankles. However, as part of the transformation, these do pop out, so if you wanted to move it forward a little bit to kind of give you some extra help, you know, you can do that. I had some poses that actually work a little better that way, but oh, and swivel wrists. I don't think I mentioned that. Swivels are pretty tight there. So all in all, his articulation is pretty decent for the scale. He's a little back heavy. You'll notice he might want to fall a lot, and it just comes from just sort of lining everything up and making sure he's standing okay. The knees also, they don't have a forward stop, so they can go all the way like that, so sometimes he may want to topple just because you haven't straightened his legs up. You kind of have to do it yourself. Alright, transformation. Let's see how this works. First thing, let's go ahead and twist the wrists around. You're just spinning them 180 degrees. And then spin the arms around. At the elbow joint, you want to bring it up like that on both sides. And you can go ahead and bring up the smokestacks, or whatever the equivalent is on Cybertron. On the back here, you'll see that there's this little flap. You can go ahead and pop that off. You can see into that cavity there, that's where his head will go. So basically you just press down on his head and you'll notice the arms are rotating. Well, I notice it, I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Arms are rotating with it. And you just press this flap down. Now at this point you can go ahead and turn the arms up. And you see right there, there's a tab and it'll go into a slot right here on the side. So you just kind of lock that in place. Do that for both sides. There we go. And his front here, these little ball jointed sections on his back will become his front bumper. And you can see they also, I didn't notice this in the instructions, but come on, focus. They will also tab into place. So just kind of lock those in, and then you can hook this, and that'll lock in pretty securely right there. Once you get these locked into place, this doesn't move very much, but you do need to make sure that that's done. Go ahead and take your ankles, unlock them from the articulation position, I guess you could call it. Fold them all the way up, just like that. It says to go ahead and plug these together before you do this, but they seem to always come apart when I do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the next part, which is to spin his knees all the way back, just like that. Now you can see that ball joint in action on the back there. Ooh, dropping toys. Story of my life. Alright, go ahead and clip his legs together, just with a friction joint there. I'm adjusting his wrist there slightly. I'm just pushing him back here. As you can see, there's two gray pegs on the back of the feet, and they will go into two red slots on the back of his chest. So you just got to make sure you kind of line those up, make sure everything's hooked together well, and that's pretty much it. You've got Optimus Prime's new super truck mode, which is intense. And he rolls pretty well, which is cool. Adjust my camera a little. What's interesting is so far in the transformation sequence, I've done it probably 5-6 times. I've never really gotten his middle wheels to sit flush to the floor. So I don't know if I'm doing something incorrectly, but really the front and back wheels are the only ones that really touch. So now at this point you have the option, you can take his rifle, and it's got that silly peg. You can put that in one of the bottom of one of the feet, and then got that, which is pretty cool. I dig it overall. I like the Autobot symbols on top. It's very, like I said before, real muscly. They were trying to go for a very aggressive look this time around, make him seem like a big honking leader. Which is kind of funny since the toy is smaller than the first one. So let's take a look at him next to the robot mode of Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime. And as you can see, the original Fall for Cybertron Optimus is much longer. A little bit, maybe a little taller, not by much, but you can see there's a lot of things that have changed. They've forgone the smooth look, the Tron-like look, to go for a much heftier looking kind of square angled bot, or car mode, I guess. They kept the smokestacks, although they've multiplied. Same amount of wheels. Both car modes look pretty good. I dig them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. I guess if anybody wants to see the bottom, there's not a whole lot of kibble or anything on this. He works a little better than Jazz in that respect, whereas Jazz, you can see his hands from the back. So, now to transform back, for those who wish to see it, remove the gun, go ahead and unplug his legs, pull them back down, undo his feet, and lock them, kind of have to push them back, focus, lock them into place. So I'll show it again here, just like that. Bring that waist all the way forward, go ahead and unlock his arms, or his front bumper I guess I should say, make sure you get them untabbed from the holes here, and then untab his arms from the sides, just like that. Pull the arms all the way down, spin around, both sides. And then these, they just kind of, excuse me, they just kind of spin and rest. They don't really lock in anywhere that I've found. They just kind of sit there. But they don't really get in the way of articulation at all. So I'll do that the same over here. Focus. Thank you. Now this tab is a little bit tricky to get up. I suppose maybe you could just push it through. Yeah, there we go. That makes it a little easier. All I did was push in on this gray piece on the back because that's all connected. So kind of pushing that in, and then see his head, how it popped up. And then this, you kind of press into place like that. Pull the arms down, put the smokestacks down. I guess you could leave the smokestacks up if you like, if people really just like that look. Spin the wrist back around. And there's Optimus back in his bot mode. Looking awesome. Oh, see, my figures have to be left-handed because we are so underrepresented in this country. So, there's Optimus again. And for our last comparison, we'll just show him next to Megatron from the first game. You see Megatron is much, much bigger than he is. So yeah. Pretty awesome looking though, see them together like that. They're kind of going towards the route where the Decepticons are much bigger than the Autobots anyway, ever since, I think they started it in Transformers Animated. I guess a little bit in the movies too, but Animated is really where they made it a big deal that the Decepticons were so much larger. So yeah, the Hasbro, from what I'm hearing, is going up to a higher price point on their deluxes, which I'm thinking is around $15, because I got this guy on Big Bad Toy Store for $15.99, I believe. So I just had him shipped in my pile of loot with Jazz. So ultimately, a pretty solid figure. I enjoy him. I really don't think he's as good as the Fall of Cybertron Optimus. If you really just wanted one video game Optimus, I would go for Fall of Cybertron. I'm sorry, War for Cybertron Optimus. This guy's he's good, but as you can see with the quality of the plastic and also to do with, you know, scale and things like that, I think he's more a product of Hasbro's cost-cutting measures of late, which is really kind of stinky. But still, solid figure. His arms don't look so skinny if you put him in from the sides. I think whenever people start finding him and we get some repaints out, there's going to be some really awesome repaints of this guy. Because he does have a pretty decent sculpt overall. Like I said, you can see all those really nice panel lines everywhere. I think with a wash, they'd be brought out pretty heavily. Just painting them really would do a number. Make him look really, really nice. I believe a lot of these panel lines are actually supposed to be filled with the light, the same way they were in the first game, that pink light, you know, kind of Tron inspired. But I don't know that for certain. So anyway, this is Optimus Prime from Fall of Cybertron. He is deluxe class, and he will be coming out pretty soon from what I understand. He is available right now on Amazon along with Shockwave and Jazz. I don't have a Shockwave yet. I will do my best to get him and get him reviewed. But yeah, pretty solid figure. 15 bucks. Bit of a stretch for the scale. I do understand the engineering that goes into these things, but I also understand that Hasbro's going to find a way to reuse this mold because it's an Optimus Prime mold. They've already got a Ultra Magnus in the works. I don't even know if he's in the game, but you know, if you have an Optimus Prime, you have to repaint him as Ultra Magnus. It's the rule. I fully expect some Nemesis Prime Scourge-looking things as well, whatever you want to call them, because that's as far down as it goes. But yeah, 15 bucks. Bit of a stretch, but you know, that's up to you. I'm probably going to rein in a lot of my deluxe figures at that cost, except for the classics. You know, Generations are kind of my weak point. I've got a huge collection of Generations, so Generations classics, Universe 2.0, all that stuff. But anyway, it's Westron signing off. I just wanted to say one more time, thank you guys, all the subscribers, comments, everything. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions or anything, just put them in the box below the video here. And make sure you check out www.infinitehollywood.com for Newton Gimmicks reviews of kaiju, toku, anime stuff, not just Japanese stuff. He's a big fan of 12-inch figures, classic figures, video game, classic game ads, classic comic ads, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got everything at the site. Go check it out. Search for some reviews. Tell us what you think. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.